Welcome to Riding with the Stars here on the SportsMax Zone, a special feature inside today's SportsMax Zone. We've been telling you about this for several weeks now. We are at Caymanas Park in Portmore in St. Catherine. And why are we here, you may ask? Well, it's a small matter of the 100th running of the Jamaica Derby to be contested at Caymanas Park on Saturday, October 31. That is tomorrow. And we are speaking to the people who matter as we preview this fantastic race for you. I'm not here alone. I'm here with Lancelot St. Aubin Whittaker and Mariah Ramarak. Lance, the race, when you look on paper, there are several horses here with A-class potential. That is why I believe this is arguably the best renewal of the Derby in several years, perhaps 10 or more years. I've not seen a field where there are 3, 4, maybe even 5 horses with the potential to win this if they get the luck in running and other things going in their favor.
Yeah, pretty open event this, and we have to say that for the 100th staging of the Jamaica Derby, it is great to see a race like this about to unfold. If we look at what happened in the St. Leger, George, it's hard to oppose Nipster, but on class, Mahogany and Wow Wow are very, very solid entries, and on ability and the likelihood of enjoying the trip, One of a Kind also gets into the fray. So this is an event that is very, very hard to decide and to analyze, and we'll spend the next half an hour trying to do that.
Mariah?
Yeah. I think for me, George, the most exciting thing is the way we built up to the Jamaica Derby. I know it's going to be definitely different this year because, you know, because of COVID-19 and the pandemic. But for me, I'm definitely bringing Wow Wow. And Lance has been convincing me to some extent One of a Kind seems like they're going to put up a fight.
The fact is that Wow Wow's credentials are strong. And what I love about the horse itself, the horse has star quality. The horse, better than that, the horse has superstar quality in the Jamaican racing context. And racing folks, they love their stars. They love their star, the human stars, the jockeys and the trainers, and they absolutely love the equine stars. This horse has a lot of backers. There are many people, notwithstanding the fact that he was beaten in the St. Leger, who swear blind that, well, things didn't go for him that day. When he reports in the Derby, he's going to be a tough nut to crack. How important is Wow Wow to the racing product, Lance? In a year affected by COVID-19, racing too has been affected, but there's a horse that so many people believe in, so many people have cottoned on to, not because he has a fantastic name.
Well, the fact is that this horse has been the star of Jamaican racing in many ways since She's a Man-Eater's departure. And Wow Wow was a champion 2-year-old of last year and has won 11 of his 14 starts. So this, as far as star quality is concerned, is the most intriguing and engaging entry in the race. His rider, Robert Halladine, has never won the Derby. He's won classics. He's won the 1,000 Guineas, the 2,000 Guineas and the Oaks, but he has never won the Derby. Remember, he won on Future King and was disqualified. He was second with Alibaba behind Seeking My Dream in 2015. So this is an opportunity now for Robert Halladine to set the record straight and show himself as a big-time rider.
But George, as he says, you know, he hasn't won the Derby before. That's why I have a lot of time for Shane Ellis, because he's won the Derby 5 times, and I'm excited to see how he goes aboard Green Gold Rush and does something different. I think if there's to be an upset, it's going to be from Shane Ellis.
Shane Ellis, the canter man. The fact is, Shane Ellis's father, Winston Ellis, is a 2-time Derby winner, Dewsbury and then Creation. So the Ellis family have 7 Derbies to their name. The son with 5, the father with 2. Yeah, Shane would want to add another one to it. And speaking of Shane, it's a good spot, Mariah, because in the last 6 renewals of the Jamaica Derby, Shane Ellis has been aboard the winner 3 times. So yeah, the man knows where the winning post is, where this race is concerned. Well, Lance, as we clear out now to get into the meat of the matter, to speak with the people who matter, I just want to say that, you know, racing needs the figures that the casual public can love. Everybody knew She's a Man-Eater because of her name and because she was awesome. Social media was talking about her all the time. And I see a growing support around Wow Wow. In case people are wondering, well, I need to ask the owner why he named the horse Wow Wow and what the horse was named after. But the most popular refrain of Wow Wow was in music. It was the popular refrain of Baby Sham, Wow Wow, back in the days when he was making a lot of hits. Yeah. So racing needs the stars that not only the racing people love, but the social butterflies. If you say, name a horse that came on a spark, Wow Wow. Yeah. There you go. Just like that. All right, we take the break right now. When we come back, we'll get into the interviews with the racing analysts, the trainers, and those who watch the horses that exercise in the mornings, the clockers, who will know how strong the form lines are. We continue riding with the stars, a special segment in the SportsMax zone as we preview the 100th running of the Jamaica Derby at Caymanas Park on Saturday, October 31. The Derby can be seen live on SportsMax from about 3:30 p.m. in Jamaica, 4:30 p.m. if you're outside, and if you want to see the entire Derby card from first race to last, you can, of course, use the SportsMax app where there is live, continuous coverage on that media. Right now, we're going to talk to a trainer who is promising to play a big hand, or is poised to play a big hand in the Derby. Talking about second-generation trainer Ian Parsard, who's sending 2 horses postwards, Mahogany and Double Crown. We missed him at the track earlier. We're catching up with him now to talk about the chances of his 2 charges. Ian, welcome to Riding with the Stars. Good to have you.
Thank you very much, George. Good to be here.
Good. Let's talk first about Mahogany. Well, let's do an overall thing first. Based overall on how these 2 horses have accepted the work that you've asked them to do going into the Derby, talk to me about that.
Yeah, I think they have both done very well. Of course, Mahogany, is going to be carrying the flag from the stable. I mean, he is a class horse. We had very high hopes, of course, for Double Crown early in his career. We have had a couple of issues to try to sort out with him, so we just keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully he'll turn up for this 12 furlong event.
Right. Let me start with Double Crown then, because in terms of breeding, awesome. I remember interviewing Simon Husbands after he won with him the last time he won. He's won twice. Simon has been aboard twice. The last victory that Simon registered aboard him, and he said, this horse feels like a Derby horse, and with natural maturity should be even better than he was last season. Well, better than he was then. What is it that has blighted Double Crown's prospects, you would say, Ian?
I think we have had a couple of things to deal with, George. First of all, he's a late fall, and so he was late to the races. He had his first 2 races he won pretty easily, so he did not have a lot by the way of competition. He did get a very nice prep race getting into the first leg, the Guineas. He was, I believe, 3rd or so to Nipster and team, but that was still a very promising run. Came back and he ran a very good race in the Guineas. He was 3rd in the Guineas. But since then, we have had a couple of issues to sort out with him. He's very quirky and sensitive as far as his mouth is concerned. I think we have had to do work in there maybe 3 or 4 times in a very short space of time. He has had a very negative reaction to being dehydrated as a result of Lasix a couple of times. So we have had to deal with that issue. More recently, going into the St. Leger, he had some joint issues. His 2 front fetlock joints were giving him some amount of trouble. We've dealt with those issues for the St. Leger, and then he did not run any race at all in the St. Leger. Coming out of the St. Leger, we had actually had more problems to deal with as well. So we took things differently with him. We have really backed off on some of the preps that we have normally given him. We have done some amount of blood analysis on him to see what was going on. We have hopefully done the work that we need to do. So we're keeping our fingers crossed for, Double Crown will turn up and run a good race on Saturday.
Yeah, I was very impressed with the run in the Royal Dad Trophy, where he was prominent, loomed large at the top of the lead, and I said, yes, today is his day, but the run flattened out. So if he can build from there, rather than the St. Leger effort, which was a non-effort, then he should be in good standing. What about Mahogany? The clockers tell me, I asked the chief clocker this morning, who said the most impressive horses going into the St. Leger from his experienced eyes, based on the work that they've put in, are Wow Wow and Mahogany. Why is he so enamored with what Mahogany has done, had exercise? What have you asked this one to do?
Well, I'm not sure why he's enamored, to be honest with you, but we are now very comfortable. I'll tell you that, getting into all of the classic races, we have had very, very big issues to deal with the preparations going into the race. Back when it was the Guineas, we had a very bad track to work on. Dane Dawkins had to try to protect him. He worked him extremely slow. As a result, Mahogany was overfresh for his Guineas run. And so, we paid the price for that in the Guineas. When it came down to the St. Leger, it was the complete opposite. We had actually asked his new rider, Omar, to do a fairly comfortable work with him. 7 furlongs in about a 128 or 129. He, in fact, worked a blistering work. And I was very worried from, 6 days out, going into the St. Leger, that he had actually run his race from the week before. This time, I believe we have gotten everything right with him, with the exception that the track last week, Saturday, was not a good track at all because of the rains. We still had to do our work. The time that he did and the manner in which he did the work was perfect, but how he came out of the work, unfortunately, was not perfect. So we had a fairly decent, big issue to deal with him from Saturday morning. The stable team has done a lot of work. Up to Wednesday, we were feeling that we were in good shape. By Thursday, when the farrier came, we pretty much are 99%. So I think he'll be 100% by the time it comes to Saturday. So I believe we have dodged a bullet. And therefore, I think the team feels very confident going into the derby on Saturday.
All right, Ian, very good from you, very detailed. Really appreciate the frankness with which you're speaking. If they run at their best, your two boys, your two horses in the derby, how do you expect them to finish?
I'm very confident with Mahogany. Always have been in the two legs. He hasn't won yet, but we still maintain the confidence. And if they run to their ability, I do expect Mahogany to win because he is a very good horse, and I can tell you, he is the best horse that I've had the pleasure of training. So the team is keeping their fingers crossed and praying that he will just come and run his race on Saturday.
Excellent. Ian Parsard, thank you very much. We wish you all the best in racing luck, which people don't understand how important luck is to a horseman's fortune. The horse can go to bed fine a Friday night, wake up Saturday morning, and everything is wrong. That's how finicky the whole business is. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, George. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Ian Parsard there, the trainer of Mahogany and Double Crown, talking to us, Riding with the Stars, SportsMax's special feature, the Zone's special feature, building up to the 100th running of the Jamaica Derby at Caymanas Park on Saturday.
Before sunrise, and the horses are on the exercise track getting ready for race day 24 hours from now. We are riding with the stars, and we're looking ahead to the 100th Jamaica Derby coming up at Caymanas Park in St. Catherine, Jamaica on Saturday afternoon. A post time of 4:05, and a trainer who has a very, very strong hand in the event is Gary Subratie. He has 3 horses, the 2,000 Guineas winner Wow Wow, the St. Leger champion Nipster, and he also has another affair who has run some tremendously good races since the start of the season. Gary, you have a strong hand in this event. Welcome to Riding with the Stars. This is a first-time production on SportsMax, and we are all excited about what is expected to happen tomorrow. Just briefly, how well your 3 horses have prepared for this race. Talk to us about that.
Okay, everybody training well going into this race. There was some little issue with Wawa earlier after the St. Leger, and we addressed that, and everything has gone really good since then. Everybody's where they're supposed to be right now.
Yeah. The St. Leger victory for Nipster was a surprise to most people, Gary. The horse went off at odds of 31 to 1. Wow Wow was the favorite and was expected to win. How do you assess how that race panned out, and why was it that Nipster was able to win the event?
Nipster was just hanging at the back. The pace was really fast, which I expected. It was a little too fast for everybody else in the race. Apart from Nipster was just hanging at the back and just tracking. And the last half mile, he got going. And that was the plan with him. Otherwise, everything else going into the race, Wawa was expected to win. Based on the early, the pace where he was in the race at the time, I think it was a little bit too early because the pace was really hot. 1:11 for 6 furlong is very hot. So he got a little tired at the end, but it doesn't mean he doesn't stay. You understand what I'm saying? So with Nipster, at the last part of the race where everybody was leg weary, he ran through.
Yeah. Another affair was the horse that set the splits there. Strategically, what would be the best thing for Gary Subratie and his 3 entries? What would be the best thing strategically for you to happen on Derby Day?
Well, I can't really go into that today. I'll tell you after.
Yes.
But we have a plan. we have to have a plan because we have 3 good horses going in the race, so we have to give everybody a chance. So we're not going to sit down and take it, this is going to go in front, that's going to stay behind. We have a plan, but I'm not going to disclose that at this time.
Yeah. You've won the 1,000 Guineas and the 2,000 Guineas and the St. Leger before, so you know what classic success is about, but you've never won the Derby. How important is it for you to come up with a winner on Saturday afternoon?
Well, this is the first Derby I'm really going into with horses with chance. I've never really had a Derby horse that can actually get the distance.
Well, you did have Big Man in Town, didn't you?
Well, Big Man in Town ran 4th to the Derby, and he won the Trinidad Derby. But he didn't come on at that time, and there was an issue with him at the time, and we worked through it. But going into this Derby, all of my horses are right there, and I expect to run 1, 2, 3. That's basically what I'm planning to do.
Yeah. A bit of a controversial issue coming out of the St. Leger because there was a lot of disquiet about Robert Haladine's ride about Wow Wow, and there was even coming from the owner Mycross a suggestion that maybe Haladine would not get the Wow Wow ride for the Derby. What can you say about that?
Yeah, I just thought Haladine was a little bit too early, and he knew what the game plan was, and he got caught a little in the game plan. So if you take out the filly out of the race, he was the one that's leading the St. Leger.
Another affair.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
yeah.
If you took another affair out of the race.
He'd be the one that's doing the pace. He shouldn't be there. So he's going to get leg weary. Everybody else is at the back. Like the horse that came the closest to him or past him was the horse way at the back. So they got to relax, and the pace wasn't hot for them. They were doing their average pace. So he was a little bit too early in that pace. 111 is too fast, and you're not 6, 7 lengths off the lead. That's way too fast.
Yeah. All right, quickly. Early in the season, Mahogany was the horse that Wow Wow thought, or the connections would have thought, would have been the big danger. Now I hear you, even in pre-race interviews, talking about one of a kind. Is it because we have now stretched out to 12 furlongs that you're not considering Mahogany as big a threat as you would one of a kind?
No, you can't take Mahogany to the picture.
Yes.
But one of a kind, the race have to run to suit him. And we don't want to get caught in the trap to make the race suit him. So Mahogany is a horse, I think, is a very dangerous horse if she's allowed to do what he has to do. So we're just going to work a plan, and let's see what happens when the race day comes.
Gary Subratie, all the best for the Derby.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Saturday afternoon. We're riding with the stars, and we'll be back with more from the track after this. We're still riding with the stars in the SportsMax zone, and we have with us now the champion trainer and the current leading trainer as well, Anthony Nunes, who starts and one of a kind, who has shown a lot of improvement coming into the Derby and was actually third, a very close third in the St. Leger. Baba, welcome to Riding with the Stars. Give us the latest out of your barn with one of a kind, a horse that has raised its stocks in the last 2 months.
He's a really happy horse at the moment. Up to this morning, he was bouncing around the track, and I think mentally and physically he's ready to go.
Yeah, you've won 5 derbies before: Terremoto, Technomoto, Relampago, Orpheus, and Supreme Soul. Among them, do you see anything in those horses in one of a kind, or do you see one of a kind in any of those previous derby winners?
Yeah, I do. I see Relampago in him. He's a late bloomer. He's going to enjoy every inch of this 12 furlong distance, and they have a very similar running style.
Yeah. Talk to us about what happened in the St. Leger, because approaching the 8th pole, one of a kind was closing on Wow Wow, looked to have been able to get Wow Wow, and then Nipster exploded on the rail and beat both of them. How satisfied were you with that run?
I was very satisfied with it. I mean, we expected him to run big. He lacked experience going in, and I think now that being, I think it was his 5th race, going into his 6th now, I think he's where we want him to be. We gave him the run. He was trained nicely up for the race, but I think we've tightened the screws a little bit more on him. There's no other Derby after this is it. So we didn't leave no stone unturned, and hopefully that's good enough to get him going.
We've seen many times, Baba, where the 12 furlong trip beats horses, and sometimes it's a horse that enjoys 12 furlongs that wins the Derby as opposed to maybe the best horse in the race. Do you think that sets one of a kind up here? Because on class, we have to say that Wow Wow and Mahogany are pretty special 3-year-olds.
You're absolutely correct. Those are pretty special 3-year-olds, and so is Nipster. Nipster is a really nice 3-year-old. And this again is where I have the comparison with Relampago. He certainly wasn't the best 3-year-old of his generation, but he certainly stayed the 12 furlongs. And I think One of a Kind is the exact same thing we have here.
You've made a little in some of your pre-race interviews about the fact that your horse is fresh and not as raced as some of the others. Nipster has raced 14 times, Wow Wow 14 times, Mahogany 9 or 10 times. Your horse has only raced 5 or 6 times. How much of a plus is this for you?
Well, I think with COVID and the Derby being pushed back to October here, I think it has actually been an advantage for him. As I said, he made his debut in early June, which normally the Derby would have been run in June, and he would have clearly missed it. So I think, as I said before, he's fresh, he's happy. We don't have any excuses at this moment, and we hope we'll get a good run from him.
Quickly, the thoughts on your rider choice. Dane has been the only rider to win aboard One of a Kind. 2 of the horses' victories have come with Dane Nelson aboard. How encouraged are you with the quality rider that you've got?
Yeah, man. Well, Dane is a fantastic rider, and I in fact brought him down a couple of years ago to ride. He was riding in Canada. We brought him down to ride Sotomayor, and he ran second to Shiza Manita, and that certainly wasn't Dane's fault. That was just Shiza Manita is a massive horse. So I mean, I'm very comfortable with Dane. He knows the horse knows him, and we just need some racing luck.
Yeah, and when we look at the fact that you've had outstanding horses before. Last year you won 4 of the 5 classics. The Oaks was the only classic that you didn't win last year. This year you've already won 2 of the classics with Above and Beyond. Unfortunately, that one suffered leg trouble and won't race again. From your championship status and your bid to retain the title, a one-of-a-kind victory on Saturday afternoon would certainly not necessarily cement, but go a long way into you retaining the championship.
Oh, absolutely. It will be massive. And also we have the 2-year-old races coming up, the Triple Crown races for the 2-year-olds, and those races will be massive as well because of the big purse money.
Yeah, Baba, we always are pleased to talk to you, and we congratulate you on the fabulous successes you've had as a racehorse trainer. 23 classics, not some of them even in Trinidad and Tobago. You've won races in St. Lucia as well. And as we come out of this segment, I want to say that of your 5 Derby wins, 3 of them had Shane Ellis riding.
Right.
He won't be riding for you tomorrow, so I know you won't wish him any luck. Anyway, thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and Mariah Ramharak will now talk to Shane Ellis as he gets ready to ride an unfancied horse in the $6.5 million Jamaica Derby.
Well, the excitement is building up. We're getting ready for the 100th running of the Jamaica Derby. And with me, I have a very special guest, a 5-time Derby winner, and of course, a winner of the Triple Crown, Shane Ellis. Welcome. It's a pleasure to chat with you.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to get right into it. You've been riding since 1996. You spent some time in Canada. You even told me you spent some time in my home, Trinidad. You're back here in Jamaica. What has been the difference from then to now?
Well, I'm much more mature.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But, I mean, in horse racing on the whole, you think anything changed?
Lots of changes. You know, back then it was, you know, you have much older professional jockeys. Now we have the younger riders coming up and things. So lots of things have changed.
Shane, what did winning the Triple Crown mean to you? Because when you won, everybody was like, you know, Shane is the best of them all. What did it mean to you?
It meant a lot because I've been winning derbies. I've been winning three other, like today, this year I won 2 of the Triple Crown. Next year I won the next 2. So that was the first in a year, and it was my greatest goal that I won a Triple Crown. Although I've won the Derby differently from the St. Leger, you know. So yeah, last year winning the Triple Crown meant very much to me.
5 derbies. You must have the recipe for success, some sort of secret. What's your favorite derby win?
My favorite derby win was my first one, Awesome Power. I won by a nose there. I had to ride very smart in that race and, play a little tricks on Mr. Ozzy. Charles Ozzy was then, and he was riding the favorite, so I had to use my brain in that race. So I think that was my favorite derby.
I always wonder, you all do regular races on the weekends, you have different races, but for a derby, is there anything special where preparation is involved, like your mind? Do you have a ritual that you do?
Yeah, you have to be focused mentally and physically. Yeah, you have to prepare yourself, knowing that it's 12 furlong, it's not like 6 furlong or a mile, it's 12 furlong. So you have to be focused all the way throughout the day, throughout the week, coming up to the derby, because the horse is preparing differently, the trainer is preparing differently, so you have to prepare yourself.
Shane, you're aboard Green Gold Rush. I mean, this is a horse that many people, they're saying that it's not a favorite and they're not giving you a chance. How do you feel about that? And when you get on that horse, do you think you have a chance?
Yes, I do. They're not giving me a chance, but I know I have a chance. And even so, if you're not riding in the race, or you don't have a shot, you don't have a chance. Even if you're buying lotto and all this, if you don't buy a ticket, as they said, purchase a ticket, you don't have a chance. So I'm riding in the Derby and I'm riding Green Gold Rush. I'm not saying he ran bad in the St. Leger, but throughout that race, he's a very nice horse. He has been training well, and he has a trainer that it's the first Derby for him. A young trainer coming up, but he's doing good with the horse, and the horse is doing good, going well for him. And we're both coming. You're riding for a small trainer, for a top jockey. You don't really have any pressure, anything on your back. You're not the favorite, so mainly they're not really focusing on you, but you're focused, and I know what to do, so I have a live chance.
Definitely. So I'm asking you a question. I feel like I know the answer. It's a tricky question. If there was to be an upset in this Jamaica Derby, which horse will cause that upset?
Green Gold Rush. It would be me.
I said I knew the answer was going to be Green Gold Rush, but I still had to ask you. So any advice for young people that want to be jockeys, want to get involved in horse racing?
Yeah, well, you have to, if you want to be a jockey, you have to have education. You have to bend your mind knowing that you're coming in. If you're coming in, you have to be a hard-working person, and your mindset for your goals to be a jockey, and keep your weight down.
Well, Shane, thank you so much for chatting. I'm looking forward to see you aboard Green Gold Rush come Saturday, Jamaica Derby. Best of luck.
In the winner's enclosure. Thank you.
Best of luck. Of course, we just heard from a 5-time Derby winner, Shane Ellis. And of course, he also won the Triple Crown with Supreme Soul. Well, we're continuing riding with the stars. As we get ready for the 100th running of the Jamaica Derby, we decided to catch up with some of the punters here at Caymanas Park and find out who are their favorites as well as who they think are the key contenders. Well, this is what they had to say.
I fancy Nipster because, I had the exact the last time in the St. Leger, and he came from behind, and I think this race will run the same way. So I just fancy Nipster to win again.
Wow, fantastic in the end, wins it over Mahogany.
Well, wow is the horse, that's my favorite. Because it's popular, he run against all the horses, I didn't take anything away from him, and I'm just sticking with him. Somebody have to improve, but I'm just sticking, I'm his fans.
Well, basically, how I look at it, the Derby is an open affair. As you can see, Wow show his limitation, likewise Mahogany. One of a kind is improving, but even though one of a kind is improving, one of a kind may lack the class. Mahogany and Wow show that they are the one, but probably they lack the internal stamina. Because, you know, Derby is 12 furlong, and they're talking about stamina limitation.
I would like Nipster to win the Derby because in the St. Ledger, I see beat Wow coming back from behind from far. So I would like Nipster to beat Wow in this Derby coming, and I would like Wow to run second.
I like one of a kind because I don't think Mahogany get 12 furlongs. I don't think Wow will get 12 furlongs either. And in a truly run race, those two horses could hurt each other because they're going to be running fast at some point. And maybe one of a kind will just maybe.
My favorite is one of a kind. He's lightly raced, he's improving. The rest of 3-year-olds them are overrunning. So I feel like the rest will do him good. And he's great to stay, and he will stay.
Well, Nipsa run a big race, but I would say a Mahogany. I don't give Nipsa a double up there. No, I would say him lucky on the day. But coming to this race, Wow connection, they're gonna do them homework and them coming. So I'm sticking with Wow.
Actually, I think it will be Wow. I think it will be Wow. Yeah. Because, I mean, Wow was the best 2-year-old last year, and there was nothing in defeat. It's just because Nipster finished a lot stronger than Wow.
And Nipster is overtaking his Wow.
Nipster go do it. Can beat them already, I'm going to beat them again.
As it look now, still close. The leader is A. Thomas, but Daniel is showing that he's picking up the bits and pieces. But if I'm going to stick out, I would give A. Thomas a head because he has two things going for him. He has handicap and he has a big trainer winning the Costa behind him.
I think the championship going into Anthony Thomas' favor. Daniel's not my jockey, but to how the cookie crumble. As a groom, he's a racehorse groom. Don't know over already, man. Anthony Thomas, I big man.
Anthony Thomas, if he gets the right.
That's not a race to bet on. It's a race to enjoy and have fun and drink liquor like what I'm doing now.
All right, so Riding with the Stars continues as SportsMax Zone builds up towards the 100th Jamaica Derby to be run at Caymanas Park on Saturday, October 31, which is tomorrow. Right now, I'm going to talk with a very important man where racing on any given day is concerned, perhaps especially so given that we want to get an insight into how the main Derby contenders are prepared for this event. I'm speaking with the man Raymond Chapman. They know him on the racing circuit as Tony Chapman, and he is a senior clocker here at Caymanas Park. Raymond, welcome to the program.
Welcome, George. Welcome, everybody.
Raise your mic, Raymond, and speak to you.
Welcome just about everybody.
Good. Tell me, insofar as the preparation of the horses is concerned, overall, how have the main contenders prepared?
I think every horse in this race has time and I think better prepared to me than they are more tempered down than the St. Ledger.
Oh, so you're saying that they're in better shape going into the Derby than they were going into the St. Ledger?
To my estimation, because most of the fast work that came into the St. Ledger tempered down somewhat for the horses to be more fitter than going into the more calm going into this race.
Talk to me about Wow. You've seen him in the mornings. How well has he looked to you?
Quite well. As a matter of fact, he's bouncing. Congrats to the trainer. He's bouncing. There's a few mornings there with a little bit tipsy and but it's in there.
He looks really well right now.
Because his exercise, right? I think it's Zoe Brown.
Yes.
I've been bouncing in the mornings.
Nipster. Talk to us about Nipster.
Nips hasn't used herself there. I think he's fit also. Gary Subratie has his 2 horses quite okay, quite fit and ready to go, well prepared going into this race.
The filly, another affair, another Subratie horse.
She, in my estimation, a little bit hedgy, but the trainer must know how he's going to bring her there. And I don't think she should play that same role coming from the St. Leger into the Derby here. I think she should be even better rated then, so to speak, by the rider.
So of those 3, the Wow, Nipster and another affair, you're saying that relative to the 2 calls, she's not quite impressed you at exercise as the other 2?
Not to my knowledge, not to my estimation.
Mahogany. What about Mahogany, Ian Parsard? Because there's been a lot of, you know that Caymanas Park and rumors run Caymanas Park.
Rumors run the world, man. Not Caymanas
rumors
Park
run the
only.
world. So they say Mahogany isn't well, he has some issues. Based on what you've seen, how has he looked to you?
To me, the trainer has done a beautiful job because the fast work, going to the St. Leger, he has tempered him down somewhat, and I love that. I love that. I think the trainer is more confident with him or him prepared coming into this race.
Yeah. What about one of a kind? Baba Nunes is a threat.
Baba Nunes needs an introduction. I've won 5 derbies locally, plus 2 abroad.
Yes.
Trained out there. So he needs an introduction. Baba knows how to get this job done. And he has done well also because his spins is just calm, nice and slow.
Yeah.
That's good. There are some more confidence coming inside, more easier.
What about King Arthur, Wayne DaCosta's horse?
The trainer give him a speed hook. He's by natural selection.
Yes.
That stays forever. Now, when Wayne DaCosta has won 6 derbies, in my knowledge, the one got disqualified. The speed work is here, so I won't question why the trainer, instead of like a 7 furlong with the last one there,
yes.
I won't question that. But they're giving us speed work in the last part, and a little bit wondering what the tactics will be. From the GFT, also change the jockey.
Yes.
From
Thomas to
a stronger jockey, to my estimation, Philip Parchment.
Yes. And the other DaCosta horse, Fearless Champion, how has that one looked at exercise?
A little bit jittery to me. Maybe I'm wrong there because I'm not Wayne DaCosta who trains at one. So I'm just a bit puzzled by the stallion, Fearless Vision. I don't know much about the stallion and his chain ability by his progeny. But
the horse hasn't looked sharp at exercise to you?
Not to me that much.
Yeah. Who would you say, based on the slow work, the speed work, the combination of slow and speed work that the trainers have given these horses heading into the Derby, who would you say are the 2 best prepared based on what you've seen in the past few weeks?
Wow. And my selection, which is Parsard selection.
You mean Mahogany?
Mahogany.
So Wow and Mahogany look the best prepared going into the Derby?
As I said, temper done from that fast work to a easy 7 furlong work, and that is good preparation to me.
All right, your top 4 for the Derby.
Need no introduction. My selection, Mahogany, Wow, Nipster, and I should lean towards Wayne DaCosta's Mother Child, King Arthur. Those are my top 4.
Top 4. Tony Chapman, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Good. Right now I'm being joined by 2 men who are part of the broadcast team on race days at Caymanas Park. And even on, race days for you, they're here working every day because there's race every day. Anthony Tyson is a motor racing specialist. He's also a horse racing specialist and a man who loves sports all around. And Andre Phillips, well, one day he's going to be the richest racehorse trainer or owner somewhere in the world. I don't know where, but this man has a horse racing in his blood. No, I'm serious. He does have horse racing in his blood. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, George.
Let me start with the young one, Tyson. I'm sure you wouldn't mind. Andre, when you look at this Derby field, it is deep in terms of the talent. But who are those 4 horses you think will decide this finish?
Well, for me, I think that Mahogany has the tactical speed from in front, the most talented horse, I think, in the field, or classy horse in the field would be Wow.
Yes.
He has no horse here has lowered his flag unless he has run out of character.
Yes.
Which on the last 2 occasions, you can't take anything from him against the older horses, nor in the St. Leger, where I would say it would be a mishap, but he was engaged a little bit early.
Yes.
And this time around, I think Robert Halladine could amend all of his mistakes
from the St. Leger,
so to speak. But for me,
so those 2, Mahogany, Wow.
Mahogany, Wow, And for the minor placings, I would give back Nipster a shot.
Yes.
And my little sentimental horse is Double Crown for the 4th place.
Yes.
Based on his Utero, being a Utero horse and having bred by Bellamy Road to catch a trip. And I like Double Crown to possibly be an upset if there is a very warm pace scenario on the front end and all goes wrong for the front running.
Double Crown will run by them all.
Right.
That's what you're hoping for.
I'm hoping for.
Tyson, your top 4.
My top 4 are one of a kind. Definitely the lightly raced one of a kind is expected to show significant improvement between September and now. And there is where I base my analysis on improvement between the St. Leger and the Derby. Nipster, no doubt that one skimmed the rail, got a great run in the St. Leger and closed best of all. Wow, who I believe will definitely stay the trip here in this class, although has to be judiciously ridden come Saturday. And I have a toss-up for the 4th place. I like Fearless Champion, one that can clearly sit off the pace and is definitely going to stay the trip.
Yeah, but gentlemen, you know, the wow angle and the staying the trip, you know, I maintain that every horse stays, but not every horse stays at a competitive pace, yeah? You say, Tyson, that wow has to be judiciously ridden, and that is the key. Is he a horse that can rate sufficiently to then be within striking distance, cruising speed, stay within striking distance, then kick at the half mile, maybe at the 3 furlong point, and still have enough to repel the almost certain challenge that he'll face in deep stretch?
I definitely think that's where the training came in. I noticed there was a pace work leading up to the Derby. Actually two. So indications there that the trainer is ahead of what we are thinking.
Yes.
And also the jockey will have to play a significant role as well, because the Derby is an intriguing contest where jockeys play a significant role. The contest, however, as we speak, will not just play out like that. There will be some intrigue. I'm looking over at that LP Azar sign over on the backstretch, and I know somebody will be going forward there.
Yes.
And that's my pick. Mahogany will be going through
it could very well be,
early.
Could very well be Mahogany.
But let me ask you, Andre, Mahogany and his tactical speed, are you seeing Mahogany taking the race by the scruff of the neck down the backstretch and having the legs to repel the certain challenges again? Because this horse showed in the Guineas that he didn't appreciate a strong early pace and then having to kick again. And then even in the St. Leger, the run flattened out at the top of the lane, to be fair.
Well, I would throw the St. Leger run completely.
Yes.
He appears to be a front running sort that likes to be on the lead or in the lead. And with that aspect, braking sharply, getting to the lead where he's most comfortable, he will run his best race. And I think the pace, everybody with doubts in their mind, catching the trip, that he will engage early and that uses tactical speed to try to get away and make a brave bid from in front.
Well, Tyson said the main thing, derbies are won and lost by jockeyship. Jockeyship will be on trial over these 12 furlongs. He who gets it right will win. He who gets it wrong, even if you're riding the best horse, you're going to lose. Tyson, he said that Double Crown is his outsider to win. You say Fearless Champion, you like that one to get a piece of the purse. Is Fearless Champion good enough to win quickly?
Fearless Champion, well, the pace has to be ridiculous for Fearless Champion to win. Everybody killing themselves off up front. And he's just closing, and closing. You know, I don't see him genuinely beating them on class, but as you said, derbies have been run in tremendous fashion. We saw the Bomber, taking off. We saw Balladeer way back, one pace. We saw Rika going to the front.
1976 Georgia Sam.
Yes, we saw Rika going to the front.
What about recently with Technomoto?
Yes. So it's going to take a brave one, definitely. A brave one, and that 6 furlong pole over there comes Saturday. You know, we're going to see a lot of changes, and the intrigue fulfilling itself on Derby Day.
Well, the talking is almost over. It's almost time for the starter to summon the runners forward and to have them load into their respective stores. Before we go, though, I have to put you all on the spot. Mariah, you're a Shane Ellis fan. You are the latest member of the Shane Ellis fan club, which is a huge fan club, by the way. Are you still working with Shane and Green Gold Rush?
Definitely. I think after speaking with him today, I have more appreciation for him, and I'm hoping that if there is to be an upset, it's going to come from Green Gold Rush, ridden by Shane Ellis.
Lance, you do know that 5 horses can't win the Derby. You have to pick one.
He likes one of a kind,
well,
too.
I need to see the horses on the track on Saturday to make my final decision, because how the horses look, their mood and their temperament going into the race will be very important. Looking at the St. Leger, hard to oppose Nipster. Every day, though, I'm liking one of a kind more and more.
Yeah, well, as I say to you, I've told the story already. I'll tell it again. The groom for Nipster saw me a couple of days before the St. Leger and said, you know, Mr. Davis, this can't lose, and he was correct. $1,627 to win the St. Leger. Will Nipster's price will begin the Derby again? I doubt it. Can he win? I hope so. See you at the track.